time to wake up. The show is about to start. With lots of stories about Pooh and a bit of art. He looks like Billie Jean, but he's not a king. A White Sox fan that's got a sting. From the stage to the screen, you will concur. She's got talent in spades, that's a good for her. When it comes to Joanne, you won't find no faults. But if you mess with the bull, you might get the Schultz.
It's time for morning.
It's Morning with Bill and Joe.
It's time for morning.
It's gonna be a hell of a show. It's Bill and Joe. It's Bill and Joe.
Hello and welcome to Mornin. I'm Joe.
I'm Florida Bill.
Florida Bill. Wow. I would say it looks good on you, but...
So say that it looks good on me.
Oh. So tell me about Florida. How's the weather?
This is the first semblance of sunlight that we have received since I arrived very late on the 27th. It has been torrential the entire time, which I figured you would enjoy.
I do.
Since
Got it.
I'm not in the New York weather, at the very least, it has rained quite literally on my parade.
Yeah, it warms my cold little heart. For those who are just watching, Bill is sitting outside, it seems in front of a pool. His skin is its usual tan, leathery self, so I'm not sure.
But not the
much has
kind that I
changed.
want. It should be much more.
Yeah.
Then because I'm hoping this sticks around. It's so disappointing. Well, how are you? You sound a little like you got some goblins in your nose.
Oh boy, I have that residual cold gunk just clinging on for dear life. In our last episode, we spoke about Christmas plans. And what do they say? The best laid plans are for stupid men. That's not the phrase, but...
Yeah, I can't fact check that right now.
I woke up on Christmas Eve with like a super sore throat, and I was like, oh no. Didn't have a fever, but I didn't go to Long Island because I was like, let me rest and not have this get worse. Christmas Day, I felt better, so I went to Connecticut to see Douglas's parents. And then the next day, it was just a full-blown head cold.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had it even worse than that. Couple the rain with the fact that I felt so bad on Christmas, and I didn't want, particularly there might be some helicopter mom aspects to certain areas of my family. I didn't want to be that guy. So I found one of the few buses coming back from New Jersey to Christmas. I missed everything. And I just sat by myself on the couch and didn't really have a Christmas. And
what was wrong with you? Was it tummy? Was it head? Was it?
It was something. And I thought I had COVID, but I took a test. I didn't. And then I was going to cancel this. And then by the time the 27th rolled around, I was feeling okay. So I figured, I don't care who gets it on the plane. I'm kidding. I was fine, and I'm fine now.
Okay.
But it wasn't great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was just so bored. That was kind of the worst of it. But like, I literally had nothing else to do. So like, best time to get sick if there is a good time. So.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you were as miserable as I was. Although it sounds like you got a little Connecticut time in, so that's good.
Yeah, and then yesterday, I saw my nephew and my parents. We all went to my sister's house in New Jersey and did the late Christmas, which was always the plan. Which is good. And my nephew had just gotten over like a stomach bug. So, it was good that we all waited.
That's the thing that's been going around. I mean, a lot of people in my family got, I think, whatever I had, but it wasn't because of me. I was around nobody. It's just something's going around, man.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say cures most ills? Vitamin D. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say cocaine. Man, there is a great bar that's almost walking distance, but it's a hike named Bradley's here. And it is... I would say I'm not exaggerating when I say 3 city block, small blocks, outdoor hammocks, ping pong ball tables, live music, palm tree, the whole bit. And I'm hoping the weather stays good and I can bike over there because Bradley's in West Palm is the shit. You would love it.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy drinking outdoors. I love a water feature and I love a fire feature.
They got that.
Florida typically does both, at least in the winter. So Gosh, yeah, I am a little jealous.
Yeah, and like if the weather holds on, it's like low 70s, not much humidity, so all that's good. It's just with my luck, it won't stick around.
Are you going to be there for New Year's?
hmm I
Do you
think I
have
get
like New Year's plans? Are you going to a party? Are you going out?
the background you see right here is my New Year's plans. As of now, sometimes last minute things happen. You got a party walking distance, someone's super rich, which of course I like. But other than that, just a few people over at the old Palm Beach bunker over here for some outdoor, if the weather holds up, some outdoor tomfoolery, I guess. Nobody likes my music, so I don't know if I'm going to be DJ this year.
Yeah, what kind of music would it be? I know you do have an affinity for Madonna, but I don't
I
know
should
if that's really like New Year's vibes.
guilty. I'm a match tip. No, I usually just do. The guests usually like the Christmas music, but I have some obscure stuff, and that doesn't like the Chieftains are this great old school session folk Irish band, and they've got a great Christmas album. But other people sort of just raise their eyebrows and like, is that Gaelic? And I'm trying to open people's minds up, and they just want the Bing Crosby shit.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. You have to think too about the environment. I don't know that Irish is really fits in with the palm trees.
Well, but I'm not that far away from the old Kennedy compound, so there's that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, oh, now I have two segues. I don't know which to do.
Oh boy.
Speaking of presidents, and then we'll get to New
Oh,
Year's
good.
stuff.
I'll give you the seg on that one.
You,
How are you doing? I know I don't see your morning band. It must be a little lower and off camera, but no one
yeah,
saw this coming. Yeah.
yeah. I think he would want me to be happy and not sad. Uh, Jimmy
I really would.
Carter, or Jim, as I've
As,
always called him.
have you?
Yep, former U.S. president and Nobel Peace Prize recipient, dead at 100 years old.
Crazy.
So Douglas told me this news in the car yesterday, and I go, 100? So he was born in 1924? And Douglas goes, yes. I know,
Well,
I
how
know
else can
how,
you reply?
I know 100 plus, what, 24, right?
Yeah, no, you got it right. You nailed it.
But it's just sort of unfathomable to me that someone actually lived that long.
And furthermore, president. I mean, look,
Yes.
there's a lot of hazards to the job. Is 44 and 46, both numbers. Donald Trump will tell you. But I remember for a long time marveling, Joe, I say marvel, at the fact that our oldest living president, up until I think Bush Sr., was John Adams, who died, and this is like the early 1800s, at the ripe old age of like I think it was either 92 or 94.
Wow.
And considering the medicine back then, George Washington essentially was bled to death because they thought that was a cure-all. When again, they just bled him to death, hoping to cure whatever pneumonia he had.
Sure.
Adams,
They didn't know what they were doing. Okay. It was homicide.
oh well, maybe. But the fact that Adams was able to survive all of that, and of course, famously Thomas Jefferson, who died at around 84 or something, also very old at the time. They both died on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Anyway, always marveled at that. And it's amazing that it's taken 200 plus years for two presidents to finally beat them, And,
Well, now you might know sort of the facts behind this, because it then immediately made me think. The presidents who served one term versus two terms. The presidents who served one term, do they typically live longer?
Interesting. Well, Adams was a one-termer.
Yeah.
Carter certainly. Bush certainly.
Yeah.
There's something to that. I mean, you see how much the job ages them.
Sure.
Look at Obama went from salt and pepper to completely salt by term 2, as far as his hair is concerned. No, I like that. I'm actually oddly impressed with you.
Do you think Biden is going to live to 102?
Well, the fact that he has no more stress aside from regret, that I mean, I can see it. Boy, he moves real slow though, and I mean, he's like still early 80s. It's interesting how different people age. I always go back to the fact that Mick Jagger is older than Biden. People age differently, Joe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, am I crazy? Yeah.
So Carter, I mean, essentially, you could say he died from old age. One would assume when you're
Hey,
100.
I've got some conspiracy theories. We don't know
Of
the
course
cause
you
of
do.
death. Yeah, as of yet.
Well, he did experience several health issues, including melanoma. Bill, let this be a lesson to
All right,
you.
this will be my last day because I really want to go to the beach.
If you get melanoma, you're going to live to 100, and we know you don't want that.
Oh, all right. I see now. I see where you're going with that. That's true.
It apparently did spread to his liver and brain.
Oh,
Here's what's crazy. Carter decided to receive hospice care in February of 2023 instead of undergoing additional medical intervention. I'm sorry, at 99 years old, they're still trying to save you? That's wild, but great, I guess.
yeah.
His wife, Rosalind Carter, died November 19th, 2023, at the age of 96. So she was also up there. So good for them. Now, just a little bit of the things he did, because, I'm a millennial. I learned this all at one point in school, but immediately forgot it. His one-term presidency was marked by the highs of the 1978 Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt, bringing some stability to the Middle East. But it was also dogged by an economic recession, persistent unpopularity, and the Iran hostage crisis that consumed his final 444 days in office. He was widely seen as a better former president than he was a president, a status he readily acknowledged. Really known for being a great human rights advocate, a voice for the disenfranchised, and a leader in the fight against hunger and poverty. And he only received that Nobel Peace Prize later. When was it? It's in here somewhere. Oh, 2002.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
That Habitat for Humanity thing was a big deal. And also a lot of people now are looking back. First of all, he inherited a really bad economy that I guess got worse. But people are looking back, and his presidency was a lot more successful than originally thought. I mean, he was probably had the lowest ratings of any president when Reagan finally beat him. And also, it's just so funny to see the difference between politics then and now. There was a controversy because I think it was when he was running against Reagan, so he'd already had one term, that he did an interview with Playboy and at one point said that he had admitted to lusting in his heart, essentially in a poetic way of saying, I looked at women and found them hot. That was really all he said. And that people lost their minds. That was just the fact that he did a Playboy interview to begin with, the fact that he admitted to thinking girls are hot sometimes, not acting on it, mind you, just looking at them,
Wow.
and looking to where we are now. That was is just amazing. I mean, it was.
Times have changed.
They sure have.
Now, Bill, I know you don't really want to live past next year, but
No.
I don't know that I would want to live to 100. I don't think my small, frail body would be able to support organ function even at that age.
Does it
And
now?
it's barely hanging
Yeah.
on, let me tell you. Barely.
Well, you have the benefit of knowing exactly how you're going to be via our Joanne law graphic.
I know.
So, I mean, at the very least, you're going to be knowing what you're putting down, visuals wise. I think you have sort of the frame and already just such an old soul, which is, polite speak for just a cantankerous old crone. You're already that at a young age. I think you're going to live very long and probably enjoy being old because, it's going to being old is an automatic excuse not to socialize or leave your home.
Yeah.
And you're barely trying with excuses these days. But when you're old, I mean, you could be as rude and as stay in place as you'd like.
So long as I myself can still hit the max bet button on the penny slots, then it's a life worth living. Okay.
You're going to be so happy in your old age. Nothing will have changed.
Truly, truly. Where's the drink girl? I need my vodka.
The only thing that I'm worried about is that at some point in the far off future, perhaps they will have come up with a way to eliminate all crime. And then what are you going to watch? I mean,
Yeah.
a good life is not built on penny slots alone. You're going to need your true crime. And you will
Well,
have seen all the previous crime by that point.
well,
There's
here's
not,
the thing. I don't know that my memory is going to be so great. So you could stick the same episode in front of my face every day, and I would probably still enjoy it.
I am pushing 50, and that's already happened. I cannot tell you how many I've gotten to like 80% worth of a documentary and been like, I've seen this before. And here's
Yeah.
the worst part, not that long ago. Like,
Yeah.
not even within the year. And I'm like, oh, see, this is the other thing too. I got to stop with the boozing during the watching, or maybe continue so that I can rewatch and as much as I want.
Oh, I hate to do this, but I am going to defend you. And nowadays, they make multiple documentaries about the
Yes.
same topic. So I could understand your starting something because you actually aren't sure if you've seen it because there are so many.
Oh my God, Netflix is a good example of that. Yeah, that's been a lot of it. I'm like, oh, this looks like a new take on a subject that I like, and that no, it was just a take that was made a year ago that I thought was recent that I hadn't seen, and I had, and yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of that.
I just started watching. This isn't new, I don't think, but the Ryan Murphy dramatized limited series about the Menendez brothers called Monsters.
Sure, good.
And I feel like I had seen the documentary, but here's the issue, even with some of these like scripted series based on truth, they really like to bend certain things.
It
And then
seemed
you
like it.
start to wonder, is that true? I'm on Wikipedia like half the time I'm watching just to see how accurate something is.
Right.
And Ryan Murphy likes to take a lot of liberties in terms of sexualization of stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Was there ever allegations that they had an incestual relationship? I mean, that is out there.
Yeah, even like with Eric's sexuality, there's a scene in prison, there's a shower scene, and there's a will they, won't they moment. And I'm like, wait, is he gay? Did
Right.
I miss that? And he's never that's never been a thing.
I didn't
But
think
I don't
so.
know.
Yeah. Well, prison. But yeah, well, the one time that I did that, because if I've seen the documentary, I'm not going to watch the miniseries, with someone acting that out. Was the one time I went against that rule was the OJ thing that I believe he also did.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really good. I mean, and I'd already seen like the 40-hour 30 for 30 thing on the whole OJ thing. That was really good too. But the miniseries and the acting and everything, everybody except Cuba Gooding Jr. as OJ, that's a stretch. But other than that, yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, isn't Cuba Gooding Jr. like short?
I think he's canceled now too. And
Yeah.
yeah, he is short. You got that. I think here's how you know that he was cast opposite Tom Cruise and Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
They're not casting a tall guy in that movie. But yeah, other than that, I the Menendez brothers, aside from what sounds like a sexy prison scene, that one's not on my list.
Yeah, some of the music is really good. It's visually super interesting, but in terms of storytelling, it goes a little all over the place.
Yeah, hard pass.
Yeah.
There's other stuff I want to see that
Yeah.
I'll forget about.
I've been watching a lot of reruns, but I haven't been watching reruns of The Nanny. That's a weird
Nice.
segue, but as we venture into 2025, Bill and we like to be on top of the trends, especially in fashion.
I mean, look at me.
But yes, this is I don't know what segment this is. I think it's just because for Halloween one year I dressed as Fran Fine from The Nanny, so Fan did a delightful graphic of it. So here you go. And so last winter, it was mob wife aesthetic. That was totally in. It's the big furs, the fake nails, the big bouncy blowout hair. Well, now Gen Zers are head over heels for Fran Fine style, says the New York Post.
Not to interrupt, but what is the difference?
So what was mob wife gangster glam, it's now it's a blend between that and stealth wealth chicness.
Nothing stealth about the nanny.
It's been 30 years since the series ended in 1999. 20-somethings, including A-listers like Sabrina Carpenter, are reviving her saucy vibe with this fashion fad. So we're talking animal prints, mini skirts,
Oh boy.
heels, cute little matching sets. And then, of course, they interviewed a bunch of, Gen Z New Yorkers who are just living on mom and dad's money to ask about the trend. And one, Aguilar Gonzalez, says Fran finds fashion resonates with New York because it reflects the city's fast-paced energy and unpredictability. She says that a good $1,000 goes into coats, skirts, two-piece sets, blazers, and any fun article of clothing that catches my eye. She'll hunt vintage boutiques for bold colors, tight silhouettes, and playful patterns. That sounds like way too much work and way too much money.
You were ahead of all of this, especially since that Halloween was several years ago. But I just remember how pleased you were with yourself, and it was apropos of nothing.
Yeah.
Usually people do topical stuff
Yep.
or something. Like Fran wasn't in the news.
Nope.
And it was just you wanting to do it.
Yep. So her costumer who created all of these trendy looks on The Nanny says her influence had always been the glamour of the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, calling the style sassy elegance.
It was sassy.
Hey, I am all about it. I still have that animal print skirt. Maybe I'll wear it on New Year's. Start the new year, super trendy.
Of course you do. You could take the girl out of Jersey. What is your New Year's plans? You didn't say.
Keeping it local. I have 2 friends in Astoria who are doing house parties. So I think we're going to bounce between those 2. At first, okay, so Douglas loves to listen to music or like go dancing. And there was this place in Long Island City, not far from us,
Nice.
that was going to be hosting a vinyl night, like playing like soul and R&B records in like a cool bar. And Douglas had been there before and he's like, it's never very busy. And we were like on an early bird VIP list to purchase tickets. Well, when tickets dropped, they sold out in 5 minutes. And it wasn't even in Long Island City. It was in Chelsea. And I'm not going all the way to Chelsea to stand around a bunch of people I don't know in an outfit that's not comfortable, waiting forever to get a drink because they've understaffed the bar. Like, so we're keeping it low key.
That sounds like a good plan. Yeah, there's been many a time when I have not kept up with the Florida tradition where I've done absolutely nothing and completely fine with it. New Year's is just, I go back and forth on what's worse, St. Patrick's Day or New Year's, but depends on the weather.
I would say New Year's because sometimes it's colder.
Yeah, I was going to say the weather factor tracks for New Year's just being awful. By the way, I don't know if you heard, this is a fun little local fact. You can hear the planes that keep coming over here. It's because they've all been redirected because Donald Trump is in town, and so all the planes cannot go over Mar-a-Lago. So they go over these properties, and all the old school Palm Beach neighbors in this area of the island, which, it's a pretty small island, are not happy about any of this, as you can imagine. All the flights being sort of redirected so that they are nowhere near Mar-a-Lago.
Listen, between that and the drones, I think it's the end of the world.
I know. And I, for one, welcome it.
Well, if the world's ending, are you going to bother making a resolution?
No, I was going to try. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you noticed, but I put it out my cigarette really quickly. At this point, it's more sense memory. I'm on a version of Chantix that I'm hoping won't have the same effects that the other Chantix had. So I have been smoking.
Why are you starting this when you are in a home that is not your own, near a pool? You're going to sleepwalk and drown yourself. What is going on?
It's a good point. But again, win-win. But it is really working. Like that one that I just had, I was like, it's amazing to me to this day that you can, and it shows how lazy and awful we are as a people, that you can just take a pill to solve it just didn't taste good to me. At this point, I'm hoping that this will work soon so that I don't sleepwalk. But so I don't know if that's a resolution because I've been doing it for 3 weeks now, but it's really starting to kick in.
Think about how much money you will save
I know.
if you
That's
don't
it.
buy cigarettes.
That's a big part of it. I mean, health schmelf, but the money, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so let's get that accomplished, that goal, and then we should get you that generic version of Ozempic because apparently the people on that don't want to drink.
That would be good. Yeah, no, that seems like next on my list. I would. I mean, obviously, I'll wait until after New Year's for that, but that's sort of the next on my list. And then, we'll work on the melanoma thing.
Oh my God. One step at a time. At least you're being reasonable.
My whole thing with the drinking is I know I got to stop it, but like, I don't have a whole lot of other shit to look forward to at the end. Especially, and I hate the cliche at the end of the day, but literally at the end of the day, I like a little scotch. All right, not a lot of scotch, but and if like I don't have that, I mean, maybe I don't know what I get into painting or something.
Do you know what I think it is? Okay, so when I was working on Walden, and I at first like was not drinking for health. I just like was so scared of getting sick that I just didn't because I knew it would affect my sleep and like it was just risky, right? But then, every once in a while I'd be like, I'll have a glass of wine or whatever. But at the end of the days, I wasn't even wanting to drink. And I think it's because I was happy. And I know that sounds so
Nope,
dumb,
that tracks.
but like I had a nice full day. It wasn't like I needed to go home and it was like, oh, I deserve this. It's like, no, I just had the best day. Good for me. I'm going to go to sleep and do it again tomorrow. So
That makes sense.
maybe you just need to find something that makes you happy.
Oh, there's nothing. But that's the other thing too. My whole theory on Ozempic, and I have absolutely no science to back this up on, is that the reason that is somehow stopping people from gambling or drinking or even really wanting to do illicit drugs or anything, I think it dulls the happiness thing in your brain. That's
Mm.
I'm assuming, I don't know, but that would track with why people don't want to do any of these things or gorge themselves on food. But I don't necessarily know if I need to dull the happy part of my brain more than it already is. But it's still better. I still want to save money, so I'm definitely up for this Ozempic thing.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to make any resolutions this year.
You're like Mary Poppins. You're practically perfect in every way.
Sure. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's a resolution, but I would really like to not go back to bartending. But that still feels like not in my control. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pay my bills at some point. But we love who did this? It was an APNORC poll. That's so many letters, and I don't know what they stand for.
I've already forgotten them.
But apparently, nearly 2 in 10 people will be celebrating the new year at a friend or family member's home, and just 5% plan to go out to celebrate at a bar, restaurant, or organized event.
I don't buy that.
More than half say they'll make at least one resolution for 2025. 4 in 10 say 2025 will be a better year for them personally. 1/3 don't expect much of a difference. And 1/4 think 2025 will be a worse year than 24. The reason why people say that they don't want to go out, or at least one person's theory, is that party packages and entrance fees are a turnoff.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the climate of the world and how much things cost. 100%. It's never worth the money.
Oh.
Unless you have fuck me money. Or is it called fuck you money?
I think it's fuck you.
Fuck me. I want some money. Great. So those people I feel like will go out and do whatever. They don't mind buying a table, doing bottle service because they don't, they're not happy with their lives.
I got to start focusing on getting some fuck me money. Maybe that'll make my year good.
Only fan bill. This is great. 3 in 10 older adults, 60 and above, say they won't celebrate the beginning of 2025 at all. I'm actually looking forward to being a Joanne and not caring.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought it was crazy when I was younger and my parents would just go to sleep. I was like, it's a new year.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're going to be asleep for it?
I've
Now I get
absolutely
it.
done that. Yeah, I've done that many times.
Okay, so as far as goal setting, women are more likely than men to say they will set a goal for 2025.
That makes sense.
Commitment. Women are just better at committing. That makes sense. 3 in 10 adults choose resolutions involving exercise or eating healthier. 1/4 said they'll make a resolution involving losing weight. And a similar number said they'll resolve to make changes about priorities of money or mental health. I think this poll was a part of a mental health institute because a lot of this article was about mental health. So,
Oh yeah.
but
Who's the
Bill,
sponsor?
I have an idea for you, something you could do that might help with your dopamine transmitters and taking up your time. There's someone who says that they're going to be spending their new year. Oh God, where is it? She essentially works a hotline for depressed people on New Year's. If you're struggling with mental health and you need someone to talk to, she's on this hotline and you can call it and like talk it through. And I think that's really great.
That's very nice of her. I just don't know why. It seems to me that if you're feeling down, you don't want to talk to a person that by hour 2 just doesn't want to be there. I think that she's going to end up just going through the motions, like they're doing a crossword while you're unloading on them.
Yeah, or how many bottles of champagne deep are we?
Yeah, completely. There's no way I would. I thought you were suggesting that I volunteer for this hotline, but there's no way I'd do it sober.
Yeah, I personally am just excited for the new year, just for it to get started, because my industry is shut down for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, which is so frustrating because I submitted 2 self-tapes for 2 plays. I would love to be cast in either, but I won't know if they've cast anything.
That's so weird that they
until not even January 2nd. The industry is not back until January 6th. They're taking the whole fucking week off.
All of those gestures you were giving off a very Fran vibe right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was really good. No, that's weird. Usually people.
So that's the hardest part. So I'm excited for January 6th. So then my life can begin again.
I'm excited.
Because right now, this limbo, I'm like reading books. Typically, I don't read books because I'm too busy memorizing or working on stuff.
I'm always impressed that you're able to do that. Well, Joe, any final wishes, thoughts? I feel like I need to cash out soon because it's just this must be peak time for people entering Florida. New Year's wise, it's just one plane after another. Any final thoughts, hopes, dreams for the new year?
No.
Well, I hope I'm done with the smoking, and then I'll be rich, bitch.
Oh God, I want you to get new vernacular for the new year.
Yeah, well, I thought I made that up.
Rich bitch and fuck me money. There you have it. Take that into the new year, folks. I guess we'll do a More You, Joe. Okay, I'm now in my rewatch phase, not because I don't remember things, but because there's too many options and I just like to watch things I've seen before. I just started rewatching Station 11. If you have not watched this, it is on HBO. There's 1 season and it is so good. It came out, I think, 2 years ago. It's just so good. I can't even explain it. It is about a global pandemic where a whole mess of people die. So if that's a trigger for you, don't watch it. But
I think that's a plus for you. Less people, the better.
Honestly, maybe that's what draws me to it.
I think that's. I'm not even kidding. But I think that you like that. Yeah.
But yeah. So other than that, thank you for a year of support. For all of you who are watching and listening, those of you who have been with us for many years. And many New Years. Happy New Year. And we appreciate you. And we'll see you in 2025.
Let's hope it's a happy one. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
I'm sure glad that's over.
That's all for this episode of Mornin with Bill and Joanne.
I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts.
Shut up, Bill.
Subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts.
Yeah, I wasn't listening either.
Very nice, Joanne. Touche.
For videos of this and other episodes, go to @Mornin Bill and Joe on YouTube.
Bill, put the sword down.
Run, Joanne, run!
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We would do it for you. Okay, that's a lie.
I never liked your show.
Sorry, wasn't listening. See ya.